Hello and welcome. Self-instructional learning. This is the topic of psychology optional for civil service examination, UPSC civil service examination, and several students are not very comfortable because this is not given in Baran, not in ncert. Some notes you will find then Michael Baum has given the therapy based on self-instructional learning. So people make use of that thing. So I am going to tell you what precisely should come under this thing. It will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes. So concentrate here. See, self-instructional learning. The word self and instructional means when you analyze the learning process, for example, in classical conditioning, learner learn to associate CS and UCS, that is called assessor learning. In operant conditioning, learner learn to connect with behavior with the outcome, so called behavior and outcome connections. In social learning, with the help of the models, learner learn to connect behavior and outcomes, like vicarious learning. But all these things are externally guided. But there may be cognitive explanations. But in comparison, when you take self-instructions, what is there? That in previous learnings, it is externally guided and it is mechanical by nature. Mechanical means that its order is fixed. It goes in a very fixed way. You cannot change these things. For example, stimulus, response and outcome, CS, US and all. So this is a very mechanical way. So externally guided, mechanical, cognitive, you can give cognitive explanations, and social, vicarious learning, social. These are the nature of this one. But on the other hand, if you take self-instructional learning, then its nature is purely cognitive. Purely cognitive means here learner himself or herself actively learns the things. Several students make a point that this is a active learning process. Other one is also active learning process. Don't say that it is not active. Social learning is also active. So that is not a base thing. But here I am talking cognitively. Instructions are self-generated, and it is cognitive and experiential by nature. You are not guided by the knowledge and principle. For example, if I throw a ball, then you know this thing that what will be the behavior of the ball, what will be the pathway of the ball. It will go up and then stop and then come down. You have the framework of gravity. So that instructions that is coming from the theory or coming from the teacher, coming from anyone else who is guiding the things, that is externally guided. But here on the other hand, self-instructional learning is self-guided, and that is why it is called self-instructional learning. Think of one example. A child is exploring in a room. So child try to explore what leads to what, where I can go, where I can get milk, other food and ball and everything. You just place a kid on the floor and then see the thing, exploratory behavior. If you look at this basic example, you will find that behavior of the kid is exploratory, and whatever hypothesis is there in the mind, for example, where could be the mother, suppose he or she is exploring. So the child has some hypothesis in mind and try to test through its own experience, maybe right or wrong. Don't go by that, but see the instructions, who is generating this thing, who is guiding the learning process, and how learning is get. Learning is nothing but change in behavior due to practice and experience. So learning is associative by nature. So when two things are being associated, then what helps? Here the child's own cognition helps. Getting? So that is why it is called self-instructional by nature. Get it? But that instructional is not like the kind of things that you see in research process. Or take another example, the creativity. when you are doing research and you are trying to find out the solution of something, a point will come when after that you will not be helped by any other existing body of theory. You need to explore something new, and at that level of time you will find to think in a new way. For example, when Skinner's discovered that learning takes place because of the outcome of behavior, it may be reinforcement or punishment, whatever, then Tolman also examined this thing, and in the course of testing he discovered that learning could occur without reinforcement also. See this. And Bandura discovered that learning could occur not necessarily through direct experience, it could be vicarious experience also. Means I like you and you are doing something, suppose you are preparing for some examination, you get success. The way you have worked, I have observed keenly, and then I can imitate that. So learning has taken place through, I have not experienced directly, through your own experience, someone else's experience you can say, and this is vicarious. So how he discovered this thing? More or less you will find self-instructional is involved here also. In the beginning he was testing other theory, that time it was not self-instructional. But a time come when something new is required, new way of connection is required, and their existing body of knowledge, existing instruction do not help. In that case what would happen? That you will make use of your own experiences, you would develop your own hypothesis in mind and try to test that thing in order to see the connections and all. For example, if you take that, what happens in creativity, that you try to solve the problem or solve the things, learn the things with the help of the existing instructions, but you fail. Then what happens? You need to think in a new and novel way, that nobody has ever done that thing. So if you are doing this thing, for example, for the first time Archimedes did Eureka. So the kind of connection he developed with buoyancy, and he connected the thing that this way I will be able to test the purity of the crown. I hope you are aware of the story. Then what was helping him? Can you try to understand? It was not externally guided, because externally whatever resources were available, whatever so-called instructions comes from different, teacher is guiding you, theory is guiding you, parents is guiding you, traffic police is guiding you, Google is guiding you. That is your externally guided things. But suppose nothing is there, but you are guiding yourself with the help of your own thinking process, maybe intuition and other things, that is internally guided and through your own observations. I am not talking totally intuition. So in that case, the process, mental processes, particularly cognitive processes involved in learning, that is involved in creativity. When you learn that this could work in this way also, that is self-instructional. So self-instructional is it is not like that it is a very kind of thing that we learn in lab. Everywhere self-instructional things is there. In part things may be instructional, externally guided, socially helped, guided learning, or in part it may be that you have developed something in your mind. हमने सोचा था ऐसा, कभी कहते हैं ना, गलती हो जाती है, तो that was your self-instructional. So Michael Baum also said that we can design a model that if I do this thing, then I will reinforce based on the operant conditioning principle. Michael Baum that we can design a model, so-called cognitive behavioral, that if I do this much, then I will do self-reinforcement. Get it? Suppose I break the things into several parts, and part by part I will move, and when I do successfully, then I will reinforce this thing. So this is a way to overcome some problem, stressful experiences you can cope with. You can develop some skills to overcome the stressor. That is a particular application of self-instructional learning. But what I am telling you, that you need not to just rely upon the Michael Baum therapy model, that is based on the cognitive restructuring model, CBT. here I want to say self-instructional is a very common kind of learning. It is found everywhere, and by the kid also, and researcher also, and creative thinker also, and in everyday life also. That many of the things we connect, that two things are connected, that may be because of your own knowledge or your own experience. So maybe that many gamblers do not apply the exact principle of probability. They try to connect the things in different way, maybe incorrect. Gambler policy is a very bias, you can say. It is not correct, but it is learning that takes place with the help of his own guided instructions, you can say, and self-generated instructions. So self-instructional learning, if you ask me to sum up, then you see the nature. It is cognitive by nature. Intrinsic means internally guided, not externally. But it doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in connection with other sort of learning, because externally instructed like classical conditioning, operant conditioning, social learning, and side by side self-instructional learning. So self-instructional learning is a very common phenomenon. It is not this. In lab, how it could be tested? It is not a particular kind of theory. For example, cognitive learning. Can you say that only Kohler has given that is cognitive learning? You can't say. That is one form of cognition that called perceptual reorganization lead to a new way of thinking, that called insight learning. Insight learning may be applicable in creativity, but or problem solving. But that is not the only way of cognition. Cognition means when you mentally manipulate the things in order to connect two things or solve problems, that is also a cognitive thing. So cognitive by nature and self-instructional, what is the hallmark? जैसे सोने का hallmark होता है, what is the hallmark of this thing? Internally and self-guided. Self-guided कि मैं मेरे ऑब्जर्वेशन से, मैं खुद का जो ऑब्जर्वेशन से, अपने ऑब्जर्वेशन से जो करता हूँ, वो सेल्फ इंस्ट्रक्शनल लर्निंग है. ठीक है. तो ये कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि अलग से चीज़ है. तो दिस इज ए पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ ऑल द लर्निंग प्रोसेसेस. मीन्स उसके जितनी भी लर्निंग प्रोसेस हमारे लाइफ में होता है, उसमें सेल्फ इंस्ट्रक्शनल लर्निंग भी बड़ा कॉमन है. बच्चों में भी होता है, एडोलेसेंट में भी होता है, बड़े में भी होता है, रिसर्चर में भी होता है, एवरीडे लोग में भी होता है. तो इसको इधर से करने का. अब नाउ क्वेश्चन इज दैट who has given the theory of self-instructional learning? You may have this question in mind. Actually, who has given cognitive theory of learning? No one. No one else. No any single person has given. So you can say that self-instructional is a form of learning where we analyze that some learning take place on the basis of this thing. So application has been given by many individuals, but nobody has said that it is an analytical thing, and that is why a new concept has been developed. Getting? For example, when you say that innovation kya कहते हैं? Innovation when you think in a new way, you try to see the new kind of pattern. Getting? Apart from existing one. तो उसको हम क्या कहेंगे? एक नाम दिया हमने. This is self-instructional learning. So I don't think that you should be very concerned कि क्या कहाँ material है, from where I should learn and all these things. Just analyze and try to understand, and few applications you can do. So Jean Piaget discovery learning is a form of self-instructional learning. Creativity is a form of self-instructional learning. Getting? Innovative way of problem solving is a form of self-instructional learning. And in day-to-day life also, self-instructional learning take place when we try to see the things in a on the basis of our own intuition and experiences. I hope you have understood this thing. So मिलेंगे अगले किसी और कंसेप्ट के साथ एंड बात करेंगे उसके डिफ़िकल्टीज़ पे और कॉम्प्लिकेशंस पे जहाँ पे आपको समझ में चीज़ें नहीं आती. आई होप आई मेड दिस थिंग क्लियर. थैंक यू वेरी मच.